Hey guys, and welcome to the first episode of Cooking with Joel. And we're going to start with a candy for the very first recipe. We're going to make some peanut brittle. I grew up in Mississippi. This is a really famous candy that you find in the South. You used to find it in other places as well, but I remember it fondly growing up when I was a kid. Only need about 5 ingredients, and you're going to need, obviously, some form of peanut. I'm using Planters cocktail peanuts that are already pre-cooked. Sugar, baking soda with just a touch of salt, vanilla extract if you prefer to use that. I like the taste that it gives. And finally, water and light corn syrup. So we're going to do a double recipe today, which is going to involve 4 cups of sugar, which we'll go ahead and pour in right here. 2 cups, which is this entire package of light corn syrup. So we'll go ahead and mix that in here. And 1 cup of water. Go ahead and add those 3 ingredients to start. What you're going to do at that point is you're going to turn your oven on to medium heat until everything comes to a boil. I'd recommend going ahead and stirring everything so it's kind of emulsified before you actually turn the oven or the stove on. But I'm going to go ahead and get the oven started, get this mixed together, and I will come back when this has reached a boil. Alright guys, welcome back. We've got the mixture of the sugar and the corn syrup and the water boiling on medium heat. Now this is the long part because you're going to have to boil this until it hits 305 degrees. If you don't cook it to at least that temperature, the sugar and the corn syrup won't harden when it's done, and instead of having peanut brittle, you'll have peanut mush. So we're going to keep this boiling on medium heat until it hits about 290, 295 degrees. Then we're going to add the vanilla and the peanuts. Then we're going to cook it for 5 to 7 more minutes. Any longer than that with already cooked peanuts, and the peanuts will burn. Now if you're going to use raw peanuts like Spanish peanuts, you could probably go ahead and add them at this point or when they're at about 260 degrees, and then just cook them till they hit 305 and they won't burn. But since what I'm using is already pre-cooked, I don't want the peanuts to burn. So again, just cook it till it's about 305 degrees. At that point I'll come back, we'll add everything else in, and then we will pour it into the pans and let it cool, and then an hour or so after that we'll have peanut brittle. I'll see you guys in a little while. Okay guys, we're back, and we have got the mixture here at 295 degrees. So at this point we're going to go ahead and add 2 more ingredients, which is going to be about 2 tablespoons of vanilla extract and about 3 to 3.5 cups of peanuts. Give those a good mix, and they're going to steam up and foam up because of just how high the temperature's gotten. That may be fogging up the lens there a little bit. Hopefully it's not too bad. And now we're going to reduce the heat to about between medium and medium low, somewhere in there. And we're going to cook this for about 5 to 7 more minutes. It's going to be really tough and sticky when you first put it in, and then the liquid is going to level itself back out. You'll be able to stir a little bit better. Again, give it about 5 to 7 minutes. Anything longer than that, and the peanuts are going to burn. Then we're going to take it off the heat, add the baking soda and the salt, and then pour it into the pans. Let the pans cool, and then break it up, and we will have some lovely peanut brittle. See you guys in a minute. Okay guys, this has been cooking for about 6 minutes now. So you can see how it's all mixed together like that. We're going to turn the heat off and move it off the heat. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of baking soda and just a pinch of salt. And that's going to completely change what this looks like once I mix it in. It's going to start to foam up. See how it's changing color like that? So we're going to mix that good. And we're going to use, just a typical little spatula here, if my lovely assistant / wife can get it held. One thing we are going to do, just to make sure this is easier to move out, is we're just going to spray that down with butter. I'll set it right there. And now we're going to pour this out into these 2 pans. And this stuff is going to start to harden fast. And you're going to want to run your pot under hot water for a good while to loosen it back up once you're done with it. Otherwise, you won't be able to get that mess out. And now, we're just going to spread this out kind of as thin as we can. The problem is, it's going to start to set up really quick. So you're just going to kind of spread it as much as you can and as thin as you can. You kind of want it about a 1/4 inch thick, somewhere in the neighborhood. You see how it's starting to spread apart when I move it, and that's just because of how hot it is and how quick it's trying to harden. So what we're going to do after this, and that'll work pretty well, is we are just going to let it sit until it cools. That'll probably take 30 to 45 minutes, maybe an hour. At that point we'll come back, we'll break it up into bite-sized pieces, and we will have some peanut brittle. So I will see you guys as soon as this is cooled down. Alright guys, so I've let this cool down. This stuff is completely rock solid hard at this point. It's cool to the touch. So there's a couple of different ways you can break this up. Easiest is just to twist the pan, and you'll hear it crack just like that. We'll do the same with this one. And actually what we're going to try and do, if I can get it to work, and I'll get a little help from a spatula. No, that doesn't want to work either. So we'll get some help from a knife. There we go. It'll all come out in one sheet like that, just about. And we'll take the 2 pans, and this will be loud, fair warning to anybody with sensitive ears. And that'll break it into some smaller pieces. Then you can break it up with a hammer if you want, or with your hands. But our peanut brittle is done. And I guess this is the end of our first video. I look forward to cooking for y'all for a while to go. Thank you, and take care.